Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to another anime review. Today we look at episode 4 of the King's Game or Ousama Game. Now, on one hand, interesting way of doing the flashback this week. It took precedent over everything else. Like the flashbacks have so far been a kind of split thing where we have split episodes. This week's episode, on one hand, I'm very glad that it was essentially a focus on Nami, who is a very important character in the manga / the story before, and her kind of plight of trying to figure out who the king is by touching everyone in class, thinking, oh yeah, probably Nobuaki's right, it's one of these people in the class that's doing it, that's the king. But, you know, the issue I have with this week's episode is that because it's this whole thing that of this flashback stuff, I've said this before in other reviews and other videos in general, flashbacks are great for character development. They're great where you see a character and you kind of get a glimpse into their past, or, you know, see something from just in general, like a memory, for example, from the past, where it examines their character and kind of gives you more information on it, obviously. A show that relies on it as a crutch in many ways, and I think the King's Game really does, I'll say this right now, rely on flashbacks as a crutch, because of the fact that you're getting a sequel for something that never had a first season, technically. You have, obviously, the source material, the manga, and you have the pseudo light novel, etc. But this is not a sequel to an anime. This is a sequel to more so a manga / novel. And the problem with that is that it's relying on these flashbacks to give you a glimpse of Nobuaki's past game where he first survived. Because of that, I feel like at times it loses the emphasis and it loses the power of explaining something, or not even just explaining it, more so you caring. Like, I felt horrible when I read the manga when I saw Nami go blind essentially because of her failure to oblige to the king. But what pissed me off was that, yeah, okay, so the anime does the same thing. It did a decent job of it, but it doesn't have that same factor because, like, you know, it already passed. Like, I know this happened, and I know even for people who never seen the manga or read the manga, you know this is his past. You know, you feel bad for Nobuaki, but you really don't feel bad for anyone else. Like, you know that everyone else he knows is either dead or gone. So it's like, you can't build up these characters. You can't feel for any of these characters. You know, when you read the manga, when I was reading it for Kemi, for example, I felt horrible when Kemi had to deal with half the crap she had to deal with. I felt horrible for Nobuaki. I still feel horrible for Nobuaki dealing with all the crap he's dealing with, obviously. But it's like, I don't know if this was the best way to do this. I really don't think it was. I think that it really would have been better having maybe the first 6 episodes be a kind of original story. You know, you could have started the sequel and then kind of went into this long flashback, which would have been every episode leading up then to the sequel. So have it like where it's 12 episodes, obviously, instead of 11, and each episode focusing on, or excuse me, I think it's still 12 episodes, but each episode focusing on the past King's Game, and then having it focus back on the sequel, or even have it where, you know, 1 or 2 episodes would have been like showing the current stuff that's happening and then go back to the flashback. I think that would have been a smarter way of doing it. But having it where, like, for example, this week we got maybe 5 minutes of actual story from the sequel, and the rest was flashback. I can't get invested into this. I can't get invested into the characters dying off, even when in the manga I felt terrible. I swear to you, I felt legitimately horrible when Nami sacrificed herself. And the animation for this week's episode was very good, trying to convey, you know, his pain and his angst and just anger, the fact that he couldn't do anything to stop Nami from basically killing herself to protect him in the process. And even when him screaming at Kemi, trying to convince her, oh yeah, I fell in love with Nami, you know, don't love me anymore, Kemi, we're done. You know, it had power to it. But at the same time, it also lacked that same emphasis because you know it happened already. You know what, this is the past. And now you're more, no matter what, even if you think internally that's not the truth, you're more caring about what's happening currently, if that makes sense. It's like the past happened. It's the future that we're now focused on, and that's why I don't like the way this is doing these flashbacks. I really don't. Next week, I already know what they're going to do with the flashback. It's going to be them talking, and this is not really spoiler per se, but it's going to focus on that one girl, Ray, and it's going to go into where they're going right now, the village. So it's going to go almost a pseudo-science to it, which, by the way, let me mention that real fast. I don't know why Nobuaki's talking about the village being a kind of way of finding the answers to everything when he went there before and found nothing. So, and I know what they're going to do. I know they're going to show what happened to him at the village, and I get that. But still, there was nothing in the village to find out. So I don't know why they think it's going to... I'm not even going to ask. I'm not going to spoil anything either, because I know some of you have not read the manga, obviously. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later. I'm scared. I'm scared of next week's episode. It's gonna be interesting, I think. But anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. God bless you all. I'm done with my reviews today. I was gonna have a Throwback Thursday review, but I'm kind of tired, so I'm just gonna be doing these 2 reviews. I hope you guys don't mind. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.